The Citizen Report is a production of New Shannon Media. All content protected under copyright. This is The Citizen Report with Jonathan Shannon.
And welcome to the Citizen Report. I'm Jonathan Shannon, and thank you for joining me today. As always, this newscast is real, in-depth, American. Thank you so much for joining me. It's always good to be back with you. Well, before I get started, let me first say, before I get to the news, let me just first ask everyone to please keep me in your prayers. I'm really under intense warfare right now, and I can personally testify how critically important it is to put on the full armor of God right now. I did that just a few minutes or a few moments ago. I've gotten out of the habit of it, you know, I've got to do better about that. But suffice it to say, I'm under intense warfare right now. I need everyone to please keep me in your prayers. I'm trying my best to keep a rhythm going on the Citizen Report. It's been more than a week now since my last show. By the grace of God, I'm here right now. But I'm just having to take things day at a time right now. So please, as I said, please keep me in your prayers. I really do appreciate that. I may come back to that at the end of the show. I'm not sure. But let me get to the news of the day. There's a few things I want to touch base on. First thing first. There is a video I want you to go look at as soon as possible. I say that because this is on this video. I'm not going to play it. I'm going to just show you. I pause it on a particular thing. But somebody posted, it looks like an excerpt of the, let's see, what is it called? Stu Peters show. Someone posted an excerpt of that from the Stu Peters show on YouTube. This is on the YouTube channel Wake Up. It's 11:57 p.m. basically, or 11:57 p.m. Let me share my screen without further ado. I can't play this, otherwise I'm going to risk having this video flagged. I'm surprised this video that I'm sharing this where I've got it paused on is still up. Let me stop sharing so I can do this. Okay, we're talking about this right here. Okay, folks, you get that? All right, let me share my screen. Look to your left, then look to your right. On your left is basically normal blood cells. On the right is, I guess, blood cells that don't look, you know, you can pretty much see what I'm talking about. I mean, it's self-explanatory. One on the left is normal. The other one on the right, well, is, you get the idea. So apparently these things are causing blood cells to go crazy. That's about all I can say. I may have said too much there, but I encourage everybody to go watch this. The title of it I just highlight it. I'll leave it there for a second. If you need to pause it for reference, please do so. I encourage everybody to watch this as soon as possible. It's only about 11 minutes and 3 seconds. So please go watch this as soon as possible. And again, it's about this thing. Okay? I'm going to also provide some commentary about that in a moment. Let me go ahead and also get this in. I mean, commentary in a general sense. Let me go ahead and also pull this up. Now, apparently, now this is not me making this claim, okay? So I don't warranty this information, and that's true of anything. When I'm sharing information here on the Citizen Report, I'm having to look at it from the lens of, you know, I'm just an average guy, okay? And I'm having to look at this, and I present information that I hope is helpful to you. Except, you know, for the Holy Bible, except for the Holy Bible, just about everything other than the Bible, I can't warranty its accuracy. Only the only thing that I can ever say is absolutely Teflon proof true and reliable, without any doubt, is the only time I can say that is the Bible. Okay, so everything else, like what I've just showed you and what I'm about to show you with this concentration camp thing, allegedly, you have to kind of take it by faith and use discernment. Okay, now there is a shall we say I'm trying to find a right way to say this. There is a guy on Twitter that I really would encourage you to go follow if you're on Twitter at all. There's a guy that we've been following each other for more than a year now. I basically almost cut back my activity on Twitter to almost nothing. I don't do much on Twitter anymore, but there's a guy on there by the name of John Robertson. He is and I'm just reading off of his description here. It says, independent producer, writer, public speaker, the Hagman Report, Caravan to Midnight, co-host of the Hagman Daily Show. Now, he's a Christian, so this guy, I think, he really hits it. He has his finger on the pulse, I think, because he says so many things that I think just really resonate. That I mean, I can tell he's really allowing, I believe, the Holy Spirit to really speak through him. And I'm not, obviously I'm having to take that by faith, but I'm just having to use, we all need to use discernment, but I trust that he is being led by the Holy Spirit. So this guy, like I said, has his finger on the pulse. He says things that I think a lot of people aren't willing to say, call out where the direction that this country is headed. So let me go ahead and get this to you now. This right here, and again, like I said a moment ago, I cannot guarantee this information, but this is what he claims. Concentration camps in France. And he says, the French, a country vanquished by Nazi Germany in 1940, a country where millions of French Jews were deported and murdered, has fallen. French authorities are locking kids in C camps, shall we say. So let me play this for you, and there's English subtitles on this, okay? It's about not quite a minute and a half, but let me just play this recording he shared here, and then we'll keep going.
Accueil Covid, c'est ici que l'on prend un certain nombre de jeunes qui sont en cas contact, qui sont positifs, et que l'on place ici, dans ce centre de cet établissement, qui est un établissement agricole, qui a été reconverti pour l'occasion une sorte de prison dorée, avec, vous voyez, des délimitations absolument partout, avec des jeunes qui n'ont pas le droit de sortir, qui sont complètement isolés du reste de l'établissement. Il y a là-bas, de l'autre côté, paraît-il, des jeunes, très jeunes, c'est une colonie de vacances qui serait dans la partie droite là-bas. Donc si c'était si dangereux, pourquoi on mettrait les jeunes juste à côté des cas Covid et des positifs? En tous les cas, les positifs, ici les cas Covid, n'ont pas le droit de sortir, n'ont pas le droit de voir leur famille. Alors sortir, c'est à prendre avec des pincettes, mais vous allez voir le reportage que l'on a fait, et on y va tout de suite. Je vous amène avec moi. Et donc ils sont enfermés ici, là.
Le Covid?
Ouais.
Le Covid, c'est une zone de quarantaine, ça a été réquisitionné par l'État pour faire une zone de quarantaine pour des gens qui reviennent de vacances.
Mais c'est libre accès ou pas?
Non.
Non.
Non, même la colonie n'est pas libre accès.
Ah bon?
Non.
Et pourquoi?
Okay, so that was the end of that recording that John Robertson graciously shared to his Twitter feed. Obviously, there's not a full picture there, but there's, again, take it with a pinch of salt. But something seems to be going on over in France, and by every metric that I'm seeing, there is a lot of shady stuff going on right now. And actually, and I was listening to InfoWars, a portion of it, from Sunday, and of course Owen Shroyer was filling in for Alex Jones, and he was basically taking the show to basically get out ahead of what he believes is going to be the next major narrative. And basically, they're going to be trying to push for basically the lockdown again. They're going to, it's basically, they're really, I think these, and this is my personal opinion here, okay? But I personally think these people are panicking so much because so many people are not doing this thing. And they need to get everyone under their control somehow. So they're pushing this. I better be careful what I say, but the Alpha, Beta, Charlie, Delta, the last one I should say, Delta. They're pushing that, okay? And now we just heard that the clowns at the I'm getting this up right now. Let me share my screen here in just a second. And there's so many things going on here, okay? So many things here. So many things. So many layers to this. But basically, this was published just 17 minutes ago on FoxNews.com, and it reads, and I have to omit certain words, okay? DeSantis blasts that agency for K-12 covering recommendation. It isn't based in that word. So basically, let's see. It says CDC. Again, I forgot to omit it. That agency director, her name, on Tuesday cited increase in that from for the changes, which also recommended some people that even did this to resume doing this in certain situations. Now, I don't know what certain situations means. This is absolutely insane. All of it is insane. All of it is absolutely insane. This is crazy, folks. I'm just telling you right now. I mean, this is so vague. I mean, and this is what's so ludicrous. Why in some instances, but not others? You know, I'm telling you, folks, this is all about control. I've said this before. This is all about control. They know that. I mean, it's like I'm out and about. I was actually in a government or the DMV agency office earlier today. And out of all the people, now I wasn't paying attention to all of my surroundings 100% of the time, but I can only recall one person doing this, okay? I'm not saying he was the only one. Well, then outside in the mall, because this particular DMV office, agency office, is inside the mall here in town. But outside in just the mall itself, there were a number of people wearing this thing. But you can tell that a lot of people have just stopped doing this. And I think they're panicking because in a lot of ways, the way you remind people that a certain event is taking place, shall we say, is by making people do this. And if people are not having to do this, people just kind of readapt to being normal again, sort of. So it's just absolutely crazy what we're seeing happen here. And again, the deep state is panicking like there's no tomorrow. So that is good news on that front. But I am so, and I'm going to go back to this thing now. I am so genuinely and absolutely concerned by this thing, because we are seeing so many reports. And let me pull up, and again, folks, I'm trying very hard to bring you as reliable information as I can, but sometimes you're just going to have to trust me, or just take what I'm sharing with you by faith and use your own discernment as I need to use my discernment for the information that I'm presenting to you. But this is Cheryl Atkinson, and she's a journalist, and she has her own website. And this is talking about this thing, all the, shall we say, certain things that people tend to have happen after doing it. Now, I can't obviously read this because I'm worried that, or concerned that I may trigger an algorithm. But for example here, 128, 370 muscle, bone, joint pain, and swelling. 119,866 injection. I shouldn't have said that word. Okay, I can't really push it beyond that point because I used that word that I shouldn't have used. But you can read on your screen right now. Pause if you need to. And I'll just go ahead and scroll on down here. And you got these other things that are going on as well. Okay. And this is not single digits. This is a lot. Okay. And isn't this interesting? Note that as well. So I'm scrolling down through here. I can't read this, but you're just going to have to pause if you need to. I've heard this number is a lot higher, by the way, but I can't prove that. I can't warranty that, but I've heard it's a lot higher. I'm not saying it is 100% here on the Citizen Report, but I've heard a lot. I've heard it's a lot more on this one. Okay, that's about, well, let me just go ahead and take a second and let you read that. And that, folks, this is so much. This is so much stuff here. Unbelievable. And even one person down in the comment section of this article basically claims to have had something happen himself. So, and there's another one. See, this is, I'm telling you folks, that I am so concerned right now about this. Now, let me be clear. I'm a Christian, so before I draw the wrong picture, let me say it is not the mark. It is not the mark, because the mark would be injected in what it would be basically. It would basically be a mark would actually go on the forehead, and then what the let me pull up that verse real quick. But let me let me just say, as I do that, that it is not the mark. However, having said that, and I need to be clear about that before I go any further, because I don't want someone saying, "Oh, you're saying it's the mark." No, I'm not saying it's the mark. But what I am saying is that we can look at the sign of the times and see where things are in the direction that things are going, because they are trying to use this to make it where, in order to be in normal society, you have to have this thing. Okay? Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 and 17. This is in the King James. And it reads, "And he causeth all, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." So we can clearly see from that this is not the mark, okay? But you can definitely tell the way things are going. And I'm concerned because we're seeing so many adverse reactions, and yet nobody is saying, is even questioning things. We are at that point, folks, where it's time to stop being silent. I posted a video earlier, or sometime after 1 a.m. this morning, before I went to sleep, and I shared that Stu Peters video excerpt where they were talking about this thing, the what's happening with the blood. And in the 12 hours or so since then, or less, I already had someone unfriend me on Facebook. I don't know who it is, but I noticed my, well, I say unfriend, I actually don't know for sure, because sometimes those numbers can just end up fluctuating, you know. But basically, I noticed my friend count went down by 1. So it's like, okay, the thing is that we have to, you know, we have to realize that if we're going to tell the truth, we're going to have to be willing to let that some people, they're not going to receive the truth. I believe in Galatians chapter 4 it talks about, have I become your enemy by telling you the truth? So these people that will not listen to the truth, that's on them. And we do the best I do the best I can, but I'm not saying I'm always perfect, but we have to realize that the time of being on the fence is over. You're going to have to pick a side. If you're going to be on the side of the world, go right ahead. That is your right. You have the right to you know, if you want to go on, woe to you if you do that. But if you want to reject God and go the way if you want to, you know, go down the path to destruction, go right ahead. But if you want to trust in Jesus for your salvation, if you want to trust in Him as your Savior, then absolutely do that. You know, be on the side of good. But don't be on the fence. I am so sick of people that are on the fence. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying that I'm always saying the truth when I need to be saying it. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, I am so sick and tired of seeing people that they refuse to take a stand when it matters. I'm so sick of people, of even Christians. They don't listen to the warnings. And again, this is not the mark. Don't get me wrong. Okay? But why would you go along with tyranny? Because this thing is in furtherance of tyranny, basically. This stuff, and I absolutely repent of ever wearing one of these things. You know, the face covering, shall we say. When my dad was dying in the hospice, I had to put one on, and that would be the sole exception to me repenting of having wore the face covering. But otherwise, I wish I was a lot stronger and standing up against those things. But I will never, and I will publicly declare this, I will never get what they're pushing right now. Never. And I feel the weight of those words, because I know that what they're trying to do is to make it so you can't get a job. But, you know, it's just the way it is. So I feel like I'm like a voice in the wilderness that few people even care to listen to. And I'm just saying, you're going to have to choose God, or you're going to have to choose the world. You know, this time of riding the fence is over. I'm not saying that by getting this, that's the mark, and I'm not saying that's the mark, and I'm also not saying that that somehow you're not a Christian if you get it. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm telling you folks, by doing that, you're only making their agenda stronger. You have one person more to contribute to their agenda. I don't care what people say. That is just how it is. Now, I know that there are people. I had a friend from childhood reach out to me some months back, and he was concerned that he got this thing. He felt pressured because the rest of his family got it. So if you're one of those people that's stuck, now I'm fortunately the only other person that lives in this household is my mom. You know, my extended family is a different matter, but my mom, I can at least say, has not gotten this, and obviously I haven't. I have not gotten this. But I also feel for those that are in the situation where they have, maybe they're in a family and they're feeling pressured to do this. Let me just encourage you, if you're in that kind of position, please continue to stand strong against this, because I'm telling you, history, if time, if there's enough time in the future where history is to be written, because I don't know how close we are to the end times, but if history books are written of this time, I do believe that those that resist this are going to be on the right side of history. So I just want to encourage you, if you're one of those people that is holding out against it, good job, keep it up, and know that I'm right there with you. So just continue to stand up against tyranny, and this agenda, this globalist agenda, has to fall. It's got to fail, otherwise humanity is going to fall. That's what's going to happen. Humanity is going to be enslaved, and I can't even believe the times that I'm living in right now. So just don't get it. Do not get it. If you've already gotten it, well, I really don't have anything to tell you, except I feel for you, because if anything happens, well, I don't really know of anything I can say to remedy it health-wise. I hope that in the future there'll be a counteracting thing that's released, but I don't know of it. I mean, I don't even know what to say, but just continue to take a stand, and that's really all I can say. But let me go ahead and also just pass this along to you in passing here. Let me just make sure I got this here. But this is now Chuck Todd. He is the moderator, I guess, of the NBC Meet the Press, or as I like to call it, Meet the Depressed. But he basically, I mean, it's so ridiculous what I'm seeing here. I saw it a little bit ago. I'm trying to find it, but Chuck Todd said this regarding the mainstream media, and this shows you the kind of mentality that the mainstream media is all about. So let me share my screen here, because this just exposes how bad the mainstream media is. This is a quote from Chuck Todd. Quote, "We should have fought back better in the mainstream media. We shouldn't," and then in brackets, "have accepted the premise that there was liberal bias. We bought into that idea we perceived as having a liberal bias." So basically, we have people that still will not get it, that you are literally biased, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is the mainstream media we have today, and it's a ridiculous, sorry excuse for a press. It is not the free press; it's a mainstream propaganda, mockingbird media. And I will also say that I got an associate's degree in broadcast and production technology, but I'll just tell you right now, I will not work for the mainstream media. I've come to that decision, and it's not been easy time for me, because I'm kind of going through this phase of, like, I've always wanted, like, I wanted to be in TV news. I also wanted to work in film. And now I see the field that I was going to go into, for like a job or work in, hopefully, TV news, whether, in whatever capacity, maybe in front of the camera. But I look at the mainstream media, and they're absolutely bought into the globalist agenda. They are not, they don't put truth out there. Only time they put truth out there is if it's non-controversial, but that's quite rare. So this just shows you, again, just that the mainstream media, they're not to be trusted. And I make a big deal of it, because there's so many people that still watch the mainstream media. Why in the world do we still have millions of people watching things like NBC, like the Olympics? I'm sorry, but why are we still watching it? Now, I'm not saying I'm not coming down on people that just occasionally watch it. I mean, yeah, I know. I watch, you know, certain little bits here, you know, and things, or listen to things, but just I guess where the demarcation line of going from, you know, okay to not okay is where you're going from, you're going it to the point where you're just getting your information from them, right? You're basically saying, oh, they're telling me to do this, so I need to do this, or they're telling me to do this, so I need to do this. Like, I literally saw a guy post stuff about Bill Nye, talking about how bad the 19 thing is. It's like, are you kidding me? That is your source? Really? How about all these other doctors who I can't even mention their name because it might be enough to trigger the algorithm, but Dr. Sherry, and I can't say her last name, but maybe I can get by saying her first name. Or I think her name is Sherry, but anyways, or Cheryl or Sherry, whichever one it was. And then the first part of her last name is Tin. I can't say the rest of it, but you get the idea. And Dr. Mercola. I mean, all these people out there are actually qualified to talk about what they're talking about, or at least are knowledgeable. But instead, they're listening to propagandists, basically. It's like, this is what I'm talking about, and this is why I'm very concerned, because people are continuing to do this. Thankfully, many people are not, and that's why the deep state, the mainstream media, they are openly, I mean, you can tell they're panicking. I mean, I saw something where Dr. Fauci was basically, his hand was shaking. Now, I don't know, you know, it could be, there could be another explanation for that, but I'm just saying, it would appear, every sign seems to indicate they are panicking. But we're also at this point now where we're having to, where you can tell there's this power struggle between the people and the deep state. And we know that the Arizona audit is going to be released soon, the results of that. And I think they are trying to ramp back up the narratives on other things, so that way they can try to cover, you know, the news cycle with propaganda to try to block out the information. So, so keep your focus on Arizona as much as possible. There are, you know, it's important to talk about how bad the this thing is, because it's having a real impact on people. But we need to remember that the Arizona thing, and I don't have any information to pass along to you specifically this time, but I'm just saying we know that that's going to be coming likely in August, and we know August is going to be a very hot month. And we know, I do believe, that Trump will be reinstated at some point. Now, I'm not saying I know that, but I do believe it. I believe that that Biden, you know, he's a Fisher-Price president. Okay, I think I can get by saying that. You know, he's playing house right now, and the person that is rightfully belonging to that White House is Trump. Okay, so there's been things that have been said that I just can't tell you if it's true or not, but it's been alleged that that there's nobody in the White House. Now, I don't know. Now, that may or may not be true, but that it is kind of intriguing, shall we say, that Lynn Wood did post on Telegram a number of months ago. He seemed to imply that he was in the White House and that there's, you know, he's waiting on Joe and Joe's not showing up. So that was a kind of a strange comm or communication there. Now, it may very well be that Biden is in the White House. I just don't know. I couldn't tell you one way or the other, but I do find it kind of odd. And also, too, I will also just add that it was very odd how right after the alleged inauguration, I call it installation of Biden, that I think it was on Apple Maps where the listing for, I think, the Oval Office was showed it was closed. So that was a very odd development on that front. But you know, it just points out, folks, that, and I've got it right here. I'm going to try to share it with you. This is a screenshot that that someone, I think someone else took this particular screenshot, but I did corroborate it because I looked on, I had to use my mom's phone because this is an Android, but I looked on my mom, I think it was my mom's phone. It was either my iPad or my mom's phone, but either way, I did corroborate and confirm that this was the case at that time. Now, this particular screenshot looks like well, I don't know if it was when I downloaded it or when it was taken, but the date on here is January 26th. But you'll note here, and let me try my best. I know there's a glare here, so my apologies. I'm going to try to, sorry, I'm terrible at this, but hopefully you can make that out. The Oval Office Government Building permanently closed. Now, I don't know if it's still that way. I haven't looked it up, but I just thought that was a rather interesting thing. Now, of course, somebody could have just randomly edited it to show that, but I just think it's very interesting. So let me now, I'm going to come to the end of the show here, but let me now get to the Bible verse of the day, and this comes from Isaiah chapter 39. And this is, I'm going to just kind of read a good portion of this chapter to you, and it reads, and I apologize in advance if I mispronounce some of these things, but here we go. At that time, Merodach-Baladan, the son of Baladan, king of Babylon, sent letters and a present to Hezekiah, for he had heard that he had been sick and was recovered. And Hezekiah was glad of them, and showed him the house of his precious things, the silver, and the gold, and the spices, and the precious ointment, and all the house of his armor, and all that was found in his treasures. There was nothing in his house, nor in all his dominion, that Hezekiah showed them not. Then came Isaiah the prophet unto King Hezekiah, and said unto them, What said these men, and from whence came they unto thee? And Hezekiah said, They are come from a far country unto me, even from Babylon. Then said he, What have they seen in the house, in thine house? And Hezekiah answered, All that is in mine house have they seen. There is nothing among these treasures that I have not showed them. Then said Isaiah to Hezekiah, Hear the word of the Lord of hosts. Behold, the days come that all that is in thine house, and that which thy fathers have laid up in store until this day, shall be carried to Babylon. Nothing shall be left, saith the Lord. And of thy sons that shall issue from thee, which thou shalt beget, shall they take away, and they shall be eunuchs in the place and in the palace of the king of Babylon. Then said Hezekiah to Isaiah, Good is the word of the Lord which thou hast spoken. He said, moreover, For there shall be peace and truth in my days. So it's very interesting, and by the way, I'm part of a Bible study, and that was how I became aware of this specific chapter. And one thing, it's, there's a couple things to look at this. First of all, you need to understand the context. Basically, Hezekiah, he was on his deathbed. He was at the point of death. He appealed to the Lord and asked the Lord. He appealed to the Lord, and the Lord gave him 15 more years to his life. But Hezekiah, instead of humbling himself thereafter, he basically bragged to these people that had come from Babylon and showed them all this stuff that he had, and he didn't give God the glory. He should have said, well, I'm using modern English, whatever would have been appropriate for that time, but basically, all glory be to God, right?